say, Doc? I heard you like I'm young. No, that one. You know what? I'm just happy I was able to get the joke out. I picked up immediately on the lyrics. But yeah. Dr. Disrespect diddles kids. That's the joke. That's the bit. He's like Drake. Him and Drake have something in common now. Besides being multimillionaires, they have something else in common. But hi, welcome back to Two Nerds One Cast. It's been about a month, maybe two. We're back. Figured I'd start it off with energy. Yeah. So there's a lot that happened, obviously, since we've been gone. There was the whole Summer Games Fest that sadly we missed out on covering. And they had the Xbox Black Ops 6 showcase pretty much, which we will talk about later on in this show. And a bunch of other shit. New Superman details came out. Some set photos released. Looks great. We're going to talk about that. And lastly, the Dr. Disrespect situation. And his official admittance of it. So, yeah. The fucking been kind of crazy lately. Let's I'm not going to lie. There's been a lot going on lately. But yeah, so I feel like we should jump into the most popular topic at the moment, which is obviously Dr. Disrespect, and I would say the allegations that came against him, but like now they're proven. Because he admitted to it. But sorry, I accidentally just punched my mic. Yeah, I think that's something that we should definitely talk about. So, what was it like? If I think it was Saturday or Friday, where the allegation came out from.
It's actually yesterday. I think it was literally yesterday, wasn't it?
No, I thought it was like Friday or Saturday, and then Dr. Disrespect came out with his first statement. Where pretty much he was like, this, I didn't do anything, blah blah blah. Here it is. So he was like. This came out on the 22nd, so that's 3 days ago, which is Saturday, right? No.
Yeah,
Saturday. So
yeah.
This came out Saturday, basically. It was from a former Twitch employee, basically saying, he talked to minors, and then he tried meeting them at TwitchCon, through like the Twitch Whisper system, right at the time, and that resulted in his eventual ban from Twitch and all that shit, and, like blacklisting. Dr. Disrespect initially responded by with his first response saying, "Listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say what I can say since this is the fucking internet. I did not do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal. No wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. Elden Ring Monday." And then the Elden Ring, well, actually the day before Elden Ring, I'm pretty sure, before Monday, aka, one of the guys from Midnight Games, or whatever it's called, not Midnight Games, you know what I'm talking about.
Midnight Society.
That's it, Midnight Society. They are a games company, that's why I got a little bit mixed up.
Which he co-founded with Robert Bowling, I believe.
Yeah, I believe you are correct. So, pretty much, one of the heads there was like, hey, we're aware of the allegations and we're looking into it. And then on the stream Monday, Dr. Disrespect looks at his phone, very similar to how he did 4 years ago with his final Twitch stream. Looks at his phone, and then like the whole mood of the stream shifted. And like a few minutes later, he's like, "Okay, guys, yeah, I'm probably gonna take a break and like hop off and like go do my own thing for a little bit." And then today, well, was it today or yesterday? This is all such a rapid. This was all so rapid. Yeah, it's hard to remember like literally all the events and like the exact timeline. But essentially, the Midnight Society removed him as one of their members. And like that shit was like, oh my god, like he's guilty. It was yesterday because I remember sending it to the Acrylic management chat because we were talking about it actually. Out of like we were just talking about that type of shit. And we were like, I saw that and I was like, oh, he did it. Like, he 100% did it. If the company that did a whole, like, probe of this and, like, investigation, they removed him. Even the first when they assumed his innocence at first, they even said it. And then he got removed, like, it was over, pretty much. And then today, he comes out with his statement. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's very, 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 very long. But essentially, what it boils down to is he claims he talked to a minor and engaged in like he said inappropriate things that he shouldn't have said in the chat, but he had no intent of doing anything. Is pretty much what his statement was. Here it is. I'll just read this part because this is like the main gist of it. That's like super important to understand. It was, were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met the individual, which, again, according to the statement from the Twitch employee, there was intent that he was going to, but we'll get into that. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Okay. I'm gonna make a statement. I don't necessarily believe that he had no intent. I don't think that's like necessarily outlandish. A lot of people point this out, and I point this out as well. That statement is very similar to what, like, I don't know if you ever watched To Catch a Predator, but it's very similar to what a lot of the people on that show would say, where they're like, oh, you know, I was just talking to him. I didn't intend to do anything with him. And it's like, dude, like these, like the messages is the weird thing. Once you get, like, you are at the time, like in his mid 30s, you should not be talking to a minor in the first place, generally, but especially not in an inappropriate manner at all. Like, that's where that line is firmly drawn. You as an adult should know not to talk to a minor in that way at all. So the fact that he did that in the first place is extremely concerning, even if he's not a pedophile, which Twitch might, not Twitch, YouTube might not like that word, but even if he's not a pedophile, there is a very certain argument that you can make that he is at least like a fucking creep, is how I would describe that. Also, someone pointed out, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but someone was like, didn't he like cheat on his wife at the same convention that he was like supposedly gonna meet this kid at? Like, which is really weird, if that's true.
Yeah, that's,
which is not great.
that would be really weird. Yeah, that's not a good look at all.
But yeah, so people, here's the weird thing that I don't understand at all from this. There's some people that are defending Dr. Disrespect. Like, if you go into those comments, there's some people being like, oh, you know, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, you know, he didn't do anything like illegal. The legality of it isn't the fucking necessarily the issue. Like, that is a problem, but it's the morality of it. And the fact that, like, he talked in these ways to a minor in the first place is like a massive fucking red flag. And like, that is just bleh. And just gross as fuck. I hate it. And like, I was very vocal that he should not be like allowed in this scene anymore. Like, just straight up. That shit is gross and it has no place in like the gaming community or scene at all. I'm gonna make that very clear in my statement. The guy is just a piece of shit for doing this, and also some of his other beliefs I don't agree with, but we're not even gonna get into that. Specifically with this issue, piece of shit is how I view it. And yeah, it's just ugh. Yeah, I mean, what?
And that was all in 48 hours.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. The first statement was about 3 days ago, so I guess more like 72 hours. But still, like, the point is very, very quick. Like, destruction of this guy's career, and it's deserved. Don't get me wrong. Like, he should not have this platform, but it's very crazy how quick it went after like the first allegation came out. I remember a lot of people when the first like, you know, allegation came out, a lot of people didn't fully believe it. Just because it was like, why now? And a lot of people that work in that type of scene and like, you know, like all that stuff were like, oh, it was probably an NDA that just expired, because it was roughly 4 years since the event happened, and a lot of NDAs are around that time frame for those types of circumstances. So probably like it was probably the NDA expired, and like the people who were part of like, you know, that decision were able to finally talk about it. So that's definitely a possibility. But yeah, I mean, it's such an insane case.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very easy to make jokes about it, like I did at the very start of this episode. Um, but it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it is a very serious issue. And I don't fucking understand how, like, how difficult is it as a fucking person to not talk to a child, especially in that way? Like, genuinely, how difficult is that? Because it feels very fucking easy. Like, it's legitimately simple not to do that and have a successful career your entire life. But for some reason, these fuckers can't do that. And I don't get it. I just do not understand that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the most upset I'll be like on this cast, because this shit
Yeah.
is just fucking infuriating to me. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's generally the gist of
That's
it. Dr. Disrespect admitted that he had inappropriate messages with the person, and whether that would have gone any further, who knows? Thankfully Twitch stepped in before it could have. But fuck, it's fucking gross.
yeah.
But yeah, that's that. That's the sad part of today. It is also the biggest
Yeah.
story of today, which is why we wanted to cover it first. But yeah, outside of that, a lot of cool shit has been going on in gaming. So let's actually start talking about that.
Yeah.
Optical, you made a whole like video about like Black Ops 6 and all that shit. I'll let you talk about that first off, and then I'll jump in and give my thoughts.
All I'm gonna say is, like, look, so here's the thing with Call of Duty now. I just have to know the fact that there's gonna be SBM in, because they're never gonna change it, right?
Yeah.
It's something that's here to stay. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it appeals
But
to the more casual player base, I'll say, for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now look, there are some rumors right now. We don't know if it's real or not. Take a pinch of salt, but there are some rumors that they're going to crank it down in Black Ops 6.
Okay.
They're going to tone it down, which
Okay.
I hope is the case.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm not going to let that take away from, the game as a whole. Because the exciting thing is, this is the first game in like years that's had like a full 4-year dev cycle, which is, I mean, when you give Treyarch a full dev cycle, they
make magic.
do some amazing stuff.
Yeah,
they do make magic. Like, you give them the amount of time, and they cook. And so, I mean, right off the bat, the one thing that I loved so far is that, like, for something that was on the Modern Warfare engine, it looks Black Ops. Like, it doesn't look like this whole gritty design. It looks like it's kind of got some of that dynamic elements. It kind of has what I'd say is like a similar color palette between Cold War and Black Ops 3. Like, in terms of the color palette, where it's like where the colors aren't so dynamic, but they're just bright enough that you can kind of get there's like enough, I don't know, personality to the overall design, which I thought was amazing. But the one thing that I really liked is, like, outside of zombies, was the new Omni movement system.
Oh yeah. I love that too. That was actually something that I was really happy about, and I was kind of shocked that a lot of people weren't fans of it when it was first announced. Like, I don't know if you saw a lot, especially in the comp scene. Some people were like, "Is this gonna be GA'd?" And it's like, dude, fucking adapt to the game, please, just learn to adapt.
Like, that's what pros tell us. Like, it's pros tell the casuals, "I'll just adapt," and then we can just reverse on them and go, "Well, you got to adapt."
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's such a unique system. Like, the whole concept of being able to like fucking dive one way and shoot backwards is very cool to me. And like that, like all that is very awesome. And I do not understand some people's dislike towards it, because it just feels like it adds so much to the game, and it's like a whole new element that just Call of Duty has never had. Like,
100%.
To me, it's almost like when jetpacks came out, and like, people actually liked jetpacks. It was a completely new style to the game, but added so much to it. And this feels, if it's pulled off effectively, feels like it should be like that. To where it is just something that it's another skill gap in a way, where, like, if you get really good at it, you can do a lot more shit than someone that sucks at it or doesn't use it. But like, it gives you a lot more like mobility and like ability to do things in game that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to do. So I find it very cool. I'm actually very excited about that whole movement system. I think it's a very unique an interesting concept, and I really hope it gets pulled off well, because I think that is one of the coolest things I'm looking forward to in Black Ops 6.
Yeah, and one thing I'm so looking forward to about Omni Movement, I'm so glad you said this, like with directions, how insane it's going to be with PhD and zombies.
Oh my god, yeah, you
It's
know
going to be
PhD
so fun.
floppers coming back, no, especially with
Yeah,
that now. Oh yeah,
that,
100%.
like that's going to be so ridiculously fun. Just all the purple explosions everywhere when you're just diving in every single direction.
Just
But I think where that yeah, exactly, and it's like so one thing that I think would be really fun as well is that if it does get implemented in the CDL, I think we're going to see some really funny plays.
Oh yeah,
Like I think we're going to see some really creative eliminations in like the whole competitive scene.
oh yeah.
And this, like, I come from a standpoint that actually this is Treyarch's answer to people wanting advanced movement yet boots on the ground at the same time. I think this is like the way that they go, okay, like,
That would make
advanced
sense,
movement,
yeah.
let's do it this way. Like, I thought this is their answer. And Call of Duty said that every change that they now make will be implemented into future Call of Duty. So if we get Call of Duty, we're also going to get Call of Duty next year. They do it to yearly release, so we'll have that same movement from what we got in Black Ops 6 moving over into the next one.
Yeah.
And until Infinity Ward comes in and strips it down and makes it boring again. But we'll enjoy it while we can.
Yeah, 100%.
But like the bit that excites me so much now, like this is when I jumped out of my chair, was zombies.
Oh yeah.
Like the zombies thing, like one thing that excites me is that they've specifically marketed round based. Like out of all the zombies, like they could just say Return of Zombies, and then you think, oh, is it going to be Outbreak? Is it going to be like whatever the hell they done in Vanguard, which was that was no words for that. But like the fact that they're focusing on round base and they're launching with 2 maps straight on day one is like,
I'm really
that's
excited
amazing.
about that. Yeah, I'm very happy that they're launching
and
2 maps.
set crew.
Yeah, you get your choice between a set crew and operators, which I think is really cool.
And that's what's so great.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Dude, it was weird though. I don't know if you saw. There were some people on Twitter complaining that it was only 2 maps.
That's weird behavior.
And I was like,
I don't like that.
I don't understand that, because like you and I have played as zombies. Whenever there's a game that has dropped with more than 2 maps, it typically is very shitty. At least at first.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like Black Ops 4, they had like what, 4 maps at launch or some shit. Only one of those was really good, and then like Declassified was solid, but it wasn't like amazing. But you had 9, which is one of my favorite maps of all time, honestly. So that's the map I go back to Black Ops 4 to play. That's pretty much the only map I ever go back to. But outside of that, you had Voyage of Despair. You had, oh my god,
9, and then you had
Blood of the Dead. Blood of the Dead.
And then you had Classified.
Yeah, and Classified.
And that was
again, Classified, great map. I think it improved on 5, but like it's also behind a paywall. But the other 2 launch maps that weren't behind a paywall, and Voyage of Despair and Blood of the Dead, were fucking ass. I genuinely I did not like those maps. I plan on going back and playing every single COD Zombies like Treyarch map, and I am not looking forward to those. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to those. Those are gonna be not fun.
Yeah.
But it's just so weird. How some people were like, oh really, they didn't get like, they couldn't have made like 3 or 4 maps, and it's like, dude, that I would rather have 2 amazing maps than 4 like okay maps. Like,
and not even that, right? But you look at Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
That had two maps on launch if you didn't buy the pre-order, like the season pass. The third map was a Doris remaster.
Yeah.
Which was the Giant. So like, it's not like there's no, it's not that there's not a high standard, but like I think that for me, I prefer quality over quantity. Right? If you're going to give me, I would rather have 2 great maps and have 6 all terrible maps.
Yeah, or 6 like average maps. I would prefer the great maps. Give me the great ones. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. And they both sound great. What they've got going on. Terminus looks creepy, and I love it. Like it looks eerie. Like it's one of the things that I've always said since Cold War, right? Is and like so look, I criticize Vanguard Zombies a lot, right? It is a zombies that I do not like it because of how it fundamentally changed the zombies loop. Yeah. But I will say this, in terms of Daron Fang, that was a really, really cool art direction for it with all like
Was
the
that the
demon,
first
demon
map? I
aspect,
can't
and
remember.
yeah, that was the first map. You know, like where it was in
Was that the
it
one
was
that
like
we
on that multiplayer
recorded?
map. Yeah, that's one we can well too. Yeah. But like I liked the art direction of that with all like the corpses and the skulls and like the whole demon aspect. Like it was a map that was mechanically flawed, but personality wise, it kind of had it.
Yeah.
It kind of had like that.
It had the vibe, it just didn't execute well.
Yeah, it had the vibe. Exactly. It had a good vibe, but terrible execution. And I mean, it was like that for like a solid 4 months until they dropped a somehow really good remake of Shinonuma. Like, I actually kind of prefer Vanguard Shinonuma to like World at War's Shino because it actually improved upon Shino by a good aspect. Well, minus the terrible perk system they still had.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh man.
I
Yeah,
still
I'm just.
somehow though prefer that perk system to Black Ops 4.
I
I
don't like
still
Black Ops
somehow
4.
prefer it.
The pick 4 and you
I hate
don't.
it.
The fact, okay, I have a lot of issues with Black Ops 4. There's one thing I like about Black Ops 4, which is the custom mutations. I think that was a really cool idea, and I wish they bring that back. Like genuinely, that was really cool.
Yeah, custom mutations was awesome.
It made it so much easier to make content. Like you could have boss onlys like on the maps, and that'd be really fun. Um, but like, dude, the rest of Black Ops 4 generally was pretty ass. The pick 4 system,
Yeah.
removing speed, making double tap only accessible after you like it auto would do it on your gun, but you have to pack like 6 times or whatever. Like it was very stupid. Fun
Yeah.
fun ideas like that were cool. Like, you know, the whole idea of like,
Yeah.
oh, pick 4 system neat. But it was not executed well. And I think
No, it wasn't.
like I will give a lot of credit to Treyarch with Black Ops Cold War. They really like took in the criticism from Black Ops 4 and like made sure that they like didn't fuck up.
Yeah.
And like I personally, I think Cold War is probably my second favorite zombies. I'm not the biggest fan of Black Ops 3 personally. The way I rank my zombies is BO2, Cold War, BO3, and then like, you know, BO1,
World at War,
World at War, BO4. Like those two are like tied because World at War I like no content and BO4 sucked besides 9.
Yeah.
But like Cold War, very casual friendly, which is what I like. That's how I grew up playing it. I didn't want to like have to do 1,000 steps for Easter eggs. But also the fact that they made it so, you know, there wasn't a perk limit, so you can get all the perks was great. And the way they made it so like, you know, once you buy one perk, the next perk is just a little more expensive and it's stacking. So you could buy one like speed for 2,000, but then the next perk is like 2,500, and it, like, you know, you can get the expensive perks out of the way, but it balanced out.
Yeah.
And it was really smart, and I'm really excited for what they do in BO6 because I have a lot of faith in Treyarch. I thought Cold War was a much better game than people will give it credit for. I loved the campaign. I loved I was a pretty big fan of the multiplayer. That's the last multiplayer I've really ever been able to invest a lot of time into. And then I was a massive fan of the zombies.
Yeah.
So
like for me, yeah,
I'm excited.
I agree. Yeah, like for me, when it comes to zombies, like I have this opinion in that mechanically it's the best zombies we've had.
Oh yeah.
Like mechanically it is the best, but narratively it does fall flat for me because of this whole operator thing that they've done, because you sort of lose interest in the narrative when every cutscene just feels like it's ripped out of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
Where like that's the only thing I don't like. Whereas it looks like in Black Ops 6, they're doing this thing of like they're gonna give you narrative and they're gonna give you like the mechanics and like, something that made me really laugh. So Kevin Drew, who was obviously the associate director of Zombies and the systems for it, so beside him he actually had a few cool things. So he had like a jar of bubble gum, like a gumball jar, obviously which obviously hints at gobble gums because that was a big thing.
Yeah.
And then he had 2 books, and then he had a little thing in the background. But the 2 books, this made me giggle. So he had a Black Ops 3 guide. And then he had a book right underneath that said this, and it said, thanks for the feedback. The science and art of receiving feedback well, even when it's off base, unfair, poorly delivered, and frankly, you're not in the mood. I was like, I thought that's such a good on the nose way to say that we're taking feedback, even if some of it was done in really poor manner.
Yeah, or
because
like
obviously, you know, devs get a lot of crap. Like devs get a lot of crap for when they work on projects. Like if there's something that doesn't work, there are people that will give constructive criticism, and then there are people who give very, very harsh criticism that doesn't construct; it actually deconstructs the devs as a whole, right?
Yeah.
And so I really like that he's done that. But in the back, and this is what excited me as well, is that he actually had perk bottles, not cans. He
Oh
had
yeah, yeah,
perk
yeah.
bottles. And I thought to myself, oh my God, are they bringing back the classic bottles instead of the cans? Because that would be cool. Because one of the things, like, I like the cans, but there's something about bottles that feels a lot more nostalgic.
That's fair. I think the
You know?
cans worked really well for the Cold War era, but I could
Yeah.
definitely see, like, preferring the
I
bottles.
think,
I was a big fan
yeah,
of the cans though, honestly. I thought the designs for all of them were
yeah.
really cool.
All the designs were cool. And it fitted for the 80s, but I feel like now bottles fits more for 90s to 2000s. Like, that makes more sense to bring in bottles.
Fair enough.
More than cans. But I mean, hell, it'd even be cool if maybe you could switch between the two. Like you have like a little thing where you can choose between like if you want a bottle or a can, and I feel like that'd be kind of fun. It's
Yeah,
a good
that
way
would
to
be
do it. But
neat.
what interests me now most about this whole zombies thing is gobblegums are back, and
Yeah,
that's like I'm because for me that's weird to me narratively because obviously gobblegums in the original story were made
Dr.
by Dr.
Monty. Yeah.
Montes. So does that mean in the new one we're either getting a new guy or they're bringing Dr. Monty back somehow? Because obviously he's still in the Dark Ether. So it's like, how is he making? Like, how is he doing this?
Yeah. So I didn't even think of the lore wise of it. I just
Like,
personally I wasn't a big fan of gobblegums.
mm,
Just because I felt like it was like obviously you could get them for free. If you like played a lot and like got the free liquid
yeah,
divinium. But like there is a lot of like, a lot of people just spent a bunch of money to make sure they had like a bajillion gobblegums. Of like a bajillion megas. And I'm personally not the biggest fan of that inclusion. I feel like it wasn't necessary. Um, but at the same time, I do
yeah,
understand like a lot of people, probably, like them.
mm,
And like, don't get me wrong, there definitely are benefits to having them there. It
yeah.
made the gameplay a little more interesting. Um, but I don't know. My take is I'm not really that
Yeah, no,
happy about
I
it
get it.
returning.
I
Um,
actually think it was well from a business perspective, it's smart to bring it back. And I say
oh,
this because,
for sure.
like, so the biggest problem, obviously, that everyone has with the gobblegums is that there was a gambling system to that, where you used to basically gamble your liquid divinium that you either
Yeah,
bought
that's what
or
I mean.
earned.
Yeah.
And obviously, there was a law that got passed that essentially bans that as a whole, like bans the element of microtransactions that basically encourage gambling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is a good way for them to do it by just basically making it, oh, you can just purchase them in store. Like you can buy your card points and then purchase what ones you want. So then they can mark it off of zombies, but they're not doing it in a way that feels like it has such a bad impact
See, I
to
think
the
that would
actual
make sense if they do
green
that.
stuff. Yeah,
I think
yeah, it would make
also
sense.
if you make it to where like you can still get that liquid divinium for free or whatever you're gonna call it, right? In
Mm.
this game, if you can get that for free through grinding, kind of like how you get like those aether crystals or whatever to like
Yeah,
upgrade
yeah,
perks and all
yeah,
that, and then just be like, okay, this like mega gobblegum, like let's say it's the soda fountain one or whatever, where like you get all the perks.
yeah.
Um, you can get that one, but it costs like 50 liquid
10,
divinium
10
or so. Yeah,
Ethereum.
like
Yeah, yeah,
something like
10
that.
Ethereum. So,
Yeah, where you
yeah,
have to
I
grind
think
a
that could
lot
be a
for
smart
it,
way to do it.
but you have it.
Yeah, I think it's a smart way to do it. It's a smart way to go about it.
Yeah, and if someone wants to spend
100%.
money to get it, they can, but it's still easy to get for someone who just plays the game a bunch, and it's not just a random luck. Like you buy it, you
Yeah,
pick the one that you
yeah,
want. Um, I think that would be the smartest way to go about that. Just because I
mhm,
wasn't the biggest fan of like the whole idea of just being like, okay, yeah, you can buy the liquid divinium or earn it, but then it's a gamble, and like that was always like, ah, fucking sucks. So yeah, I mean, if you can do it through that manner, that's fine, in my opinion. I don't have a problem
yeah,
with it.
100%, 100%.
Um,
So yeah, that's. I think it's going to be a good year for Call of Duty. I'm. This is. I think it's the first time in years that I'm actually really confident about a Call of Duty game.
yeah, I agree. I think the last time I was confident was actually Cold War, which is very funny. But
Yeah, like
these last few times have not been confident. MW3, 2, and Vanguard were misses, in my opinion. Big old misses.
I, I will give credit where it's due. MW3 has had the best post-launch multiplayer support COD's had
Oh
in
yeah,
years. Like Sledgehammer has absolutely nailed the multiplayer support.
yeah. No,
And
they've
actually,
killed that.
what was found out is that although Modern Warfare 3 didn't make so much Modern Warfare 2, it had a higher player retention.
Oh wow.
So like it actually outperformed the player base in Modern Warfare 2.
MW2, yeah.
But then again, that is because one, Sledgehammer listened to the feedback. They pretty much unscrewed up everything Infinity Ward did from MW2.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because they actually took a bit of a swipe at Infinity Ward in one of their patch notes. They actually had a little shot and said, so when they brought all the MW2 weapons into free, they said, it. They said we've changed up the visual recoil because it doesn't fit the current gameplay standards.
That's very funny.
And I'm like,
yes, yeah, let's go.
I was like, oh my god, that's amazing that they just said, oh yeah, Infinity Ward, your gameplay philosophy doesn't fit standards.
Yeah, it does not fit what we are looking for, so we're switching it out.
It was great.
You're done,
yeah,
buddy.
It was great, but it was
You're
so
done.
good. You're done.
You're done, buddy. You're done.
But no, I mean, that's I'll give Sledgehammer credit. They've given it incredible post-launch support, multiplayer-wise. Zombies is dead in the water.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
no one played it. It wasn't a good
ironically
zombies.
Ironically, for a game about zombies, it's dead.
Yeah, that shit was fucking oof.
Apparently, we're not supposed to get like any more zombies content till like season 6 reloaded. So that's like 3 months.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Really?
Like that's like 2 months. Someone looked in the files and they could not find a single thing for season 5.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh god.
Well, that's not great.
I was like, that's not gonna sit well at all.
No, that's not great at all.
So they better drop a round base map in season 6. Just say, hey, sorry.
I don't think that's gonna happen, man. I think Treyarch is pretty much abandoned. Treyarch should stop making fucking zombies. I like legitimately not Treyarch. Infinity Ward. Sorry, Infinity Ward. My bad. My bad. Nah, Treyarch's the best. I love Treyarch. Poppy Treyarch.
Treyarch made the zombies for Modern Warfare 3.
I know, but I don't really count it because they probably were told what they had to do. I don't believe that fucking Treyarch was like, we'll make this shitty ass zombies mode. We're gonna make this dog shit mode that no one likes. I don't believe they did that. I don't believe
it's funny. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't believe they did that without being told they have to make an Outbreak style mode. And here's the thing: I don't think Outbreak style modes work that well in general, but especially on a game that isn't a Treyarch game, because I think Treyarch has a very specific vision and they know how to tie that into their map and all that stuff. Don't with Cold War's Outbreak. I thought it was a little bland. I'm not gonna lie. I've never been a fan of Outbreak, but like. The map was good. The map, like layout, everything made sense. It fit the Cold War theme. This fucking it's too big of a map on MW3. It's just too big. There's too much empty space. It sucks because of that. Yeah. And I don't know. I like the extraction, but outside of that, I was just like, this is a nothing burger. And like legitimately, there was nothing to it in my opinion. And I don't think Treyarch was solely responsible for this fuck up. So Infinity Ward should just stop trying to include zombies into their game. I think you can argue Sledgehammer's fine because Sledgehammer made Infinity War, if I'm not, or yeah, Infinite Warfare. Oh my god.
Infinity War done Infinite Warfare. Sledgehammer done Advanced Warfare.
Okay, then you know what? Maybe they both need to stop because Infinite Warfare was the only good non-Treyarch zombies that I can think of. Advanced Warfare was pretty shit. So
actually, not even Sledgehammer done Advanced Warfare Zombies. That was actually Raven and High Moon.
Yeah, like I said, everyone that isn't Treyarch should stop trying to do zombies. Not Treyarch. Infinity Ward had it for a little bit there, where like their zombies was really good, and then they fumbled it on the very last map, and they have never gotten it back. So you guys gave it your all, but fucking stop. Let Treyarch be the only developers of zombies and let it be only in their games. It's fine, I promise. Just make co-op. Here's the thing. I don't understand why the fuck Infinite Warfare and like Sledgehammer don't make co-op modes anymore that aren't zombies. Like you remember Spec Ops, right? From like the OG MW2 and 3.
Yeah.
That shit was so fun. Let me play Spec Ops. Let me play missions with my friends if I want to. Or alternatively, do like the survival modes that were in MW3, which are kind of like zombies, but you're getting shot at. And it's really fun. And it was great. Do that. That was so fun. You guys nailed, Infinity Ward nailed those. No doubt. Like that's some of the most fun I've ever had on Call of Duty. Just keep making those. I don't know why every not spec ops co-op mode has to be zombies in Call of Duty now. Like I get it sells, but just do like the fun spec ops. The MW19 tried
Yeah,
spec ops, it sucked, but like get your feedback under you and make a good co-op mode, please. Oh my god, Treyarch is the only
like
one that like are good with co-op right now, and it's fucking insane.
yeah, Treyarch has always killed it at zombies really most of the time. But so what was interesting is the Modern Warfare Zombies mode was actually what was going to be this year's Outbreak, apparently. So what we were supposed to get with Outbreak was what we got in Modern Warfare Zombies. Apparently that's the rumor,
Oh, weird.
which would make sense. Which is, but I would say actually that makes sense because they can do basically have that time to build on that, and then they can kind of carry that forward.
Yeah.
So essentially, Modern Warfare Zombies was Outbreak beta from 2024. So it's Outbreak 2 beta. So and which is why it felt so like familiar. Like I still think the whole timer you can only play for a certain time thing is dumb, but you know. But so Treyarch did handle that, and then basically in season 2 they left and then gave it to Sledgehammer because obviously Treyarch had to finish up Black Ops 6. So that explains why like content was so weird post because
Post-launch.
season 1 delivered like season 1 had great like a really good content launch. You know, they said, hey, here's new zones, here's new weapons, here's new wonder weapons and everything. But it was interesting because before season 2 Reloaded kicked off, they done a little thing where basically Jerks said, hey, look, if you do this as a thank you for playing Modern Warfare Zombies, we're going to give you all this free stuff. And everyone thought, oh, they're stepping back if they're saying, as a thank you for playing our game, you get to do this. That was sort of like their way of saying, yeah, we're out.
Yeah, it was just such a miss to me. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. I prefer my round-based
The
maps.
foundation was there.
I
The
think it was a
foundation was
solid
there.
foundation. I remember us playing it on the acrylic channel, and that was fun.
Yeah,
But like
it just did not support it.
they didn't support it, and I just don't think that works that well for zombies. I think zombies works best
Mm.
in a round-based like
Yeah,
enclosed map. I don't think like these massive like maps like Warzone scale maps will work for zombies in my opinion.
yeah.
Um,
Like, don't get me wrong. I want them to innovate zombies, right? 100%. I think always innovating zombies is great. But if you're there point to innovating where you're leaving the core foundation of the mode in like dead in the water, like that was the problem I had with Cold War. Is that like Cold War, you know, it was a great zombies, but it did kind of take away the focus on innovating round based to just do this mode where essentially it was just multiplayer maps and they drop zombies in.
yeah.
Like because most of the maps were fighting maps, and they just dropped zombies in, put some stuff together, done a few Easter eggs. But I feel like they could have had that time to really do some cool stuff with the round based maps. Like they could have done some really cool stuff.
Oh, are you talking about Outbreak in Cold War?
Yeah, because
Okay,
so Outbreak and
okay.
Cold War, like
Sorry, I thought that you were talking about just
again,
like Cold War zombies in general. I was like, I felt like Cold
oh
War
no,
zombies was very generally well
oh yeah,
pulled off. I
no,
think Outbreak was weak, but I
yeah.
think it's
But
always I
I'm
don't know.
saying,
Let's just do.
yeah, no, I'm saying Cold War Zombies was great, but I just didn't like that Outbreak took the front seat after round base. You know, only had a couple months, so they dropped 5AC, and then for like a solid couple of months,
That's true. It
it
was
was
all
Outbreak,
Outbreak.
Outbreak, Outbreak, Outbreak,
Yeah,
Outbreak, and I'm like, come on, man, like really?
and
Why
then
don't you just do
what
Outbreak
was
and
it?
Reloaded?
Malware Tone was the next map, and then it was Forsaken. Forsaken sucks. I'll say Forsaken's my least favorite map in that game by a mile.
Hmm.
Um,
The Crystal Axe was sick. That wonder weapon with the axe that turns into a gun. That was sick.
yeah, it's just I don't think the map like Forsaken's map just did not work for it in my opinion.
I get it. I
Yeah,
get it. I
I
mean,
think Malware
Mal
was
was
very
sick though.
good. I thought I really liked that map. I liked the Easter egg. Firebase Z I thought was very good. Um, me and Machine, you know Machine obviously. Me and him
Yeah.
have been playing all the Cold War Zombies maps because of that series that I'm doing. Um, and we've gotten through D Machine and Firebase Z, and he's loved both of them. Um, so I think the first three maps were really well pulled off. I think Outbreak was generally a miss, and I think they're still trying to like hone it in. And you know what? If
Mm.
they ever make Outbreak a good mode or like that style of mode work, I'll be very shocked, but I will be
Mm.
very happy because I do think, like you said, I do think it
Mm.
is important. That like his zombies adapts and like grows outside of just being like purely round based. But I do think round based is the best way for it to operate and like just works the best, in my current opinion.
Mm. No, I agree. I agree. I think it's. I think I just round base is just what made zombies so good in the first place, and to abandon that is just a bit weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's a weird thing to do.
Yeah,
I actually think a lot of the reception to Vanguard would have been less bad if they done Durham Funk and then they done a round base map on launch. I think people would have been a lot less, or at least they said flat out, yeah, this isn't going to be round base. This is a new thing. That's why I think so many people were less hateful towards Modern Warfare Zombies, because they told you straight out, this isn't round base. This is an
its own
extraction
thing.
game.
Yeah,
Like I think that's why a lot more people were less like hate towards it. I think if they said, like with the original one with Vanguard, oh, zombies is back for another round, we're combining round base with these other things, then if they said like, oh yeah, we're combining like round, like survival fans with extraction and stuff like that, then people are like, what?
yeah,
Like the communication was clear with Modern Warfare Zombies compared to Vanguard Zombies, and that's how and they had the classic perks, because I argue that the perks do add a personality with the perk jingles and the overall theme of
oh,
it. Like
I
the
agree.
perks do add a personality,
Yeah,
and I think that was another thing that I hated, is that was out in Vanguard Zombies. I was like, why would you remove that?
you're
That's like a
right. I
big
forgot about
personality
that.
thing.
They got rid of that shit. I
They made
legitimately forgot.
demonic fountains.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, dude, like
I was
half
like,
the time I
is this
didn't know
Doom?
which perk was which.
Yeah.
It
I was
sucked.
like, bad.
It was such a bad
Yeah, it's pretty
idea.
bad.
Man, I fucking hate thinking about Vanguard. Just that game in general.
I mean, do you know what? I will give it this. The multiplayer beat Modern Warfare 2, 2022. Not the old one. Want to make it clear. I mean the new one. Like, if you ask me what I'd rather play, Vanguard multiplayer or Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, I would probably say Vanguard multiplayer, because
That's
it had
fair. Yeah, I
like
think that's fair.
because the maps were better. You could actually see where you were going. The gunsmith was less. Like, although yes, 10 attachments was absolutely ridiculous on a weapon, it had a better system than what the new gunsmith is.
Yeah,
That's how I see it.
fair enough.
Call me controversial.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think that's fair. I'm just excited for what Black Ops 6 is gonna bring. I really
Oh
am.
man, I'm
I think it's
excited.
gonna be very good. I have a lot of faith in Treyarch. I think Treyarch makes very good games.
Mhm.
Like if I were to probably rank my
Correct,
favorite
Nemesis.
CODs, I think the Treyarch would make that list a bunch of times. Like genuinely, I
Yeah,
think they've been they're the most consistent studio.
yeah,
That makes Call of Duty. In Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, they have hits and misses. But Treyarch generally outside of Black Ops 4 has pretty much only ever been hits. Um, and like I gotta give them that credit. They make fucking fantastic games. Um,
yeah.
so it's very cool. I'm excited to see what happens with that game. I'm excited to see any more news that drops. Also, Optical, you do talk a bunch about like Call of Duty and all that shit on your channel.
Mhm.
Obviously you
Mhm.
made the whole thing about Black Ops 6 reveal and all that stuff, and with zombies. So for anyone interested in hearing more about it, uh, go check out Optical's channel. It's Optical on YouTube. So go check that out. He uploaded a video 12 days ago at the time of recording. Pretty much just talking about the whole Black Ops 6 reveal and everything. And yeah, so go check that out. He also makes a bunch of other content that isn't just purely about Call of Duty, such as like Silent Hill stuff, Portal, all that type of stuff. So go check him out. And yeah, make sure you show him that support. And then
Thank you.
no worries. And then we have the Superman thing. I almost forgot. That'll probably be our closing topic. So let's talk
Yeah.
about it a little bit. So obviously a few days ago, honestly I think it was yesterday, we got some new set photos from the Superman movie, and the internet's had some mixed opinions on the suit. I think a lot of them were pretty positive, but I assume you've seen the
Yeah.
like jokes of like like how people make the MCUification joke of like, oh, really
Yeah.
simple hero design and then it's like too many lines. Um
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that lately, but like, oh my gosh, I really like the suit actually. I think it's really good, and I don't think the lines detract from it. I think the lines and everything are solid. Also, oh my god, I think it's Corn Sweat, right? Please tell me I'm not stupid. It's David Corn
Yeah,
Sweat,
David
right?
Cornsweet.
Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't messing up his name. Um, I think it looks. I think the suit looks good. I think he looks like a pretty good Superman. I think it looks very solid. Um,
Yeah.
Also, have you seen the video? Not the video, but like the photo of like what Clark Kent is gonna look like.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. I will say I think the hair's a little bit over the top silly. Like not silly, but like a
Yeah.
little over the top for the disguise. Um
Mm.
but like I like it. Obviously I'll throw up a photo of it on screen.
I think
So
Lighting
our
looks great
viewers
as
can
well.
see it. But I think it looks really cool. I could easily see how someone would not think they're the same person. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
I see the photo of Clark Kent and then I see Superman. I'd be like, yeah, there's no way that's the same guy. There's no fucking way. Because like it's not only the glasses now, it's also the hairstyle is just completely different. But I'm really excited. I assume you've seen the video of like what looks like Superman staring up at a tree. Like he's like
Mm. Yeah.
I really
That's
hope
the
they
actual
do like
point.
the whole cat stuck in a tree bit where he
That would be cool. Like that'd be cool because this is the one thing I'll say. Henry Cavill was a really really depressing Superman.
yes.
Like this is the one. Like no disrespect to Zack Snyder because I do think he's got some amazing projects. He's like Army of Dead is one of my favorite films he's done,
That's fair.
and he did good with Watchmen as well. Like Watchmen was a really good film as well. But I just don't like how serious and like really almost melancholic they made Superman. Like they made him basically like this really, really sad, immortal being, and I'm like, that's not what Superman is. Like the original writers, so a little bit of backstory. So it was two Jewish writers created Superman. So I believe the name was Hanukkah. So I saved the names here. Um, um, uh, okay. So yeah, so this was two Jewish writers, Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel, right? And so they created Superman as a sign of hope, because obviously at that time, with America, like it was pretty bleak during that time in America,
Yeah.
right? And so they created this figure that people could look up to, and he essentially became like this symbol of peace and hope, and just basically
The
the
American
positive side.
way.
Like,
Yeah, of like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
his peak Americana also, I would say.
Yeah. So it's like to take that away, make him like this really, really sad Superman is what just defeats the point of Superman. So seeing that James Gunn is going to make him like this really happy, joyful guy who's just wants to save people, I think that's what Superman is.
Here's the thing. I think Zack Snyder did a lot of character assassinations in his DC series, like in the DC universe.
Batman.
I think it was Batman is a major one.
Mm.
I think Superman may be his second largest offense though, because
Yeah.
in the comics, Superman and through all other media, Superman, yes, he's an alien, he's from another planet, but he views himself as human, right? He views himself as a person just like anyone else. Like yes, he has these super abilities, but at the end of the day, he views himself as just another person that just has these abilities that allow him to help out other people.
Yeah.
But like in the Zack Snyder movies, they portray him a lot more as like a god. Which is not at all what that character is meant to be. It's meant to just be like the best parts of humanity exemplified as a person. The kindness, the like compassion, all that. And that's what Superman is meant to be in media. And Zack Snyder really didn't do that. And it looks like James Gunn understands his comic book characters. I'm not gonna lie, that man, that guy understands that shit amazingly. So I'm really excited to see how he's gonna, display Superman. But I think it's gonna be really good. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, like him rebooting DC Universe was the smartest move, I would say, to reboot that universe, because as soon as they said, oh yeah, by the way, James Gunn is now directing DC, I'm like, yep, it's safe.
They're
now.
back.
Like
they're back.
Like because the one thing is that I've always wanted Marvel to have competition, right? Because I think that one of the biggest things is that I think Marvel needs competition to improve upon their flaws, right? And this is coming from someone who's been a Marvel fan for nearly 20 years, and it makes me feel old to say, but that's me being honest. I've been a Marvel fan for nearly 2 decades. I've watched Iron Man 1 in cinemas, and I've watched every movie ever since. But I think it needs competition so every new thing feels fresh, because they can look at that and go, oh, it worked in this thing, like it worked with that.
Yeah, you can pull inspiration.
DC fouled by not competing with Marvel, but actually trying to completely rip it off by going full comedy and all like these really weird suit designs in the way that done just like Justice League. Like the DC fouled by trying to be Marvel, right?
Yeah.
But I think James Gunn, he has this really, really fresh formula in all his films. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, one of the best comic book movie trilogies ever created.
Oh,
I
I
will
think
say
it
that
is. In
comfortably.
my opinion, it is the best. In my opinion,
Like, there's not a film where you look at and go, "Oh, that was terrible." Like,
there's not
you
even a
actually
film in
enjoy it.
that where I think I look at it and go, "Oh, that's average." I think every single one was
Yeah,
above average.
exactly that. I mean, Free for me was the best one out of the trilogy.
Oh
Although it
yeah,
was sad, it was like the best one,
it had the
and it was
best story and the
it was
most
the
emotion.
MCU's first F bomb. It was the MCU's first F bomb, so that was kind of cool. James Gunn got away with doing that, so that was fun.
Yeah,
But I think that James Gunn, he's really going to give the Superman that people have been wanting for a long time.
I agree.
You-
Especially in
and
live
that's what I
action.
like.
It's been so long
Yeah,
since we've gotten a
I love it.
faithful live action Superman. Obviously, like I'm talking in
Yeah.
movies. Like obviously, I think it's Clark and Lois or whatever. It's the one that's on like the CW or whatever. Actually, a pretty good show I've heard. From what I've heard, I think it's on Max now. I think they took it over. But it's a pretty good show from what I've heard. I personally haven't watched it, but like one of a lot of people that do actually watch it. It's very faithful to Superman. Um, but like aside of that, there isn't really any like good live action versions of Superman. That
Yeah.
I've really seen in a long time. Obviously,
Mm.
since like the '90s. Is like the last time
Yeah,
you
no,
can
of
really even
course.
start thinking about one.
Christopher Reeve, would always be
The go-to.
yeah, he is like everyone thinks of Christopher Reeve. People think of Brandon Routh, but I think like one thing I will say is out of all the recent adaptations, for some reason, for live action, the CW got it right. Most like out of those recent adaptations, the CW actually kind of got Superman right
Yeah.
with the Superman and Lois show. And I just want to say, by the way, Lois Lane looks fantastic with the set photo. Like she's got the comic accurate like dress on, and she's
Yeah.
she looks. I think that Rachel Brosnahan is gonna kill it as Lois. And James Gunn even said that their chemistry as Superman and Lois is like perfect.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted. Like it's gonna be. I think this is gonna. This might be like a great DC movie.
I agree. Yeah.
Look at Peacemaker. That was like that still to me is like one of the best superhero series
Oh,
ever
it's
made.
great.
It's brilliant. John Cena. Like
I
I'm
think he
so
said
glad
the
they're keeping
first
John
season
Cena as
isn't
Peacemaker.
canon though.
Yeah,
No.
so he said that season 2 is going to be a reboot. Basically, season 2 is going to reboot it. So, but that still feels weird to me in some way. So, like, does that mean that Suicide Squad that he done is no longer canon as well?
That's probably the case. Yeah. I mean, you can always
Which
argue it is
yeah,
technically canon, just in a different universe, right? Like that's always the argument that you can make. But like that's not
yeah,
going to be the universe that's in, so it's not canon to the main universe that they're building.
mm,
But yeah, I mean, I think I think it's gonna be really good. I'm very excited for just the movie in general. I think it's gonna be very good.
yeah. It's going to be refreshing for DC.
It really is. I'm very excited to finally get like a good Superman film. Honestly, Superman has been thriving in other media though. Like obviously, the My Adventures with Superman show,
Yeah,
fucking
Jack Quaid's killing it.
amazing. I love that show so much.
Jack Quaid is doing so well. Honestly, I love it.
I know season 2's been out for a little while. I just started watching it. Last night I watched the first 2 episodes. Obviously, they're still releasing new episodes, but they're already 6 episodes deep, so I'm a few episodes behind. But it's a really, really good show. Watched all of season 1 when that fully released. And it's just a blast to watch, dude. Like they get Superman right, and that's why I love so much about it. And I gotta give them a lot of respect. Because it feels like such an easy character to get right, but somehow a lot of places like people haven't. But yeah, I think My Adventures of Superman right now the best adaptation currently ongoing of Superman that isn't in the comics, obviously, and then even like some of those DC animated movies doing pretty well. Although DC animated movies have kind of been dipping in quality, lately, especially the animated universe is kind of shit in the bed.
Yeah.
But overall, pretty good. I'm actually really sad for this movie, and I cannot wait to see it. Oh my god, when does it come out? Like 2025, 2026?
It comes out next year, I
Oh my
think. Yeah.
god, jeez.
Wait, let me check because I could be because I remember the original date was that they did move it to 2024, and then no, was it 2024? No, it was 2025. Ignore me. Right.
When does Superman? July 11, 2025 is the expected day.
Yeah. Yeah. July 25. Yeah. And it's going to be obviously the first film in the DC reboots one.
Yeah, the
goes,
new
like,
universe, whatever
obviously
they
it's
want to call it.
their phase. It's they're calling it not phase 1, but like chapter 1. I think it's like Gods and Monsters. I think is what they're calling the first phase. Like
Very
the first
cool.
chapter of the new DC universe, which I think is a sick name to kick off with.
Agreed.
And we're gonna see. So one of the things that's exciting with the Superman film is that we're gonna see Guy Gardner, aka one of the Green Lanterns, which I think is sick. Mr. Terrific looks phenomenal. Like it's stripped straight from the comics, and then you've got like apparently they're gonna throw in a few like the classic Superman villains, which is really cool. Like to kind of have all them in.
Yeah, it looked like
but
it might be Brainiac in this movie from like that one teaser.
Oh, that'll be sick. But I'm really, really excited to see actually Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor in this. I think he's gonna kill it.
That's a fair point. I wonder if they're gonna make Lex Luthor already evil, or like, kind of showing why, like building up his character to be that villain later on. I wonder, to me, Lex has always been like one of the grander Superman villains, like one of the guys that you
He's a
want to
master
build up to.
manipulator.
Yeah, one of the guys that you
Yeah.
want to build up to and keep around. Even like, if Superman beats him once, I think that you have to keep Lex around. Like that's always my view, because I think Lex is such an interesting character in that aspect. Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna make him like immediately like one of the guys Superman has to face in this movie, or if it kind of like is displaying like Lex's, at the end of the day, Lex's character is very much so a tale of almost jealousy towards Superman.
Yeah, 100%.
Like being superhuman, Lex is a weird guy. But I think like I want to see that part develop of Lex's disdain towards Superman grow, and like have him be one of the grander villains that Superman has to face. Obviously in his own film, but like separately in a different film, not in the first one. Personally, kind of like what they're doing in My Adventures with Superman, where they're building him up to be like the Lex Luthor that we all know, but like he's not quite there yet, and I think that's really interesting. Also, another really cool thing that I'm really excited for with the movie. Oh my god, I'm blanking. I just had the statement and I fucking blanked out. Ugh.
Oh no.
I hate when this happens.
You'll get there. You'll get there. You got it.
I'm just excited for the whole movie. I think it's gonna be really good. Here's what it was gonna be. I'm excited about the fact that Superman joins a world where there's already some superheroes that exist.
Yeah.
Like he's not the very first one. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like you don't always have to show the very start at like immediately. You can kind of pick up in the middle of the universe, because it's not like the universe just starts when the movies start.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's okay, like one of those dumb tropes of like, oh, he has to earn the suit or like earn the name Superman. Like he is Superman.
Yeah.
I think that's what's nice, is that it's not going through the trope of like he has to earn that way, he has to earn the cape, or he has to, build up to learn his powers. He knows it. He's natural to it, and I think one of the things. So I actually think building up Lex Luthor would be a mistake, and the reason why I say that is because they tried it in Batman v Superman, right? They tried it, and I think they done it really poorly.
I have a
and
lot
I just
more
don't
faith
think
in
it's
James Gunn than I do in Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I do too, because
I could live with James Gunn building up Lex over like a series of movies. How you could end the first one with him building the suit that like he's famous for.
Yeah. You could treat it like Thanos, where like you just build like you do like little snippets of him through all the different movies, and then you make him a big threat. For example, in like a Justice League movie, or the what's the other one they got going on? There's one that they're doing, but it's essentially like it's their version of Avengers, kind of like it's like their Avengers. It's not got Superman in, but it's like this superhuman team, and they very much think of it's kind of no tell a lie, it's not like Avengers, it's a bit like their version of The Boys, It's like the DC's version of The Boys.
Okay.
So it's like all like there's this ragtag team, and they think they're doing the right thing in all like the most wrong ways possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you can start to really bring in Lex Luthor to manipulate all these different characters and create something that could be quite interesting. And what's exciting is actually James Gunn. So there's two things, and I just want to mention this because this is pretty awesome. James Gunn has not said no to potentially crossing over in the future Marvel with DC.
Yeah, I think that'd be really
I feel like
cool.
seeing that on the screen would be like, I mean, it'd be massive to see that in cinemas, to see like two of these universes collide together, and who knows, maybe they'll do it in Secret Wars. I don't know, but no, that's a joke. But there's a second thing. So there was basically this fan that commented to James Gunn on Twitter saying, "So did you ever watch a thing called How It Should Have Ended?" It was like this animated thing that took the mick out of all the film's endings and said, "Here's how it should have gone. Here's how it should have gone."
Oh, yeah, like the YouTube series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it always ended with Batman and Superman in a cafe. It always ended with Batman and Superman in a cafe, right? Like in that little diner, and things go on. And the fan said, if you recreate this where they're in the cafe and Batman says, "I'm Batman, I will eat my shoe," and James Gunn said, "Okay, like what happens here? Because if I do it, you will eat shoe." He said, "Yes." So he's basically, I don't know if it's going to be in the new Batman movie or it will be in the Superman movie, but he's hinted that he's going to recreate that in the movie where they both sit and dine together. And like things just go on, and Batman just says, because I'm Batman." And I'm like, please do that, because that would be
very funny.
So funny.
Yeah, that'd be very funny.
Because it's such like and I think the creators of How It Should Have Ended would appreciate that too as well, to see like this trope that they have get adapted, on screen. I think a lot of people would look at that. It'd be like that one meme of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Leo's just like pointing at the screen like, "Hey, I get it."
Yeah. That one, yeah.
That's what it'll be. That's what it'll be. 100%.
Yeah, I think that'd be funny. I think that'd be very neat, very cool, very epic, as the kids say. But yeah, I think that could be very fun. I'm not even gonna lie, I think that could be
It's gonna be a fun movie. It's gonna be a good movie either way, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think this movie will be good. I don't think there's a world in which it isn't. But yeah, I think that will pretty much wrap up this episode of Two Nerds One Cast. Pretty good episode. Honestly, we didn't have as many topics as we usually do, but I feel like we did a lot more deep diving into the topics that we did.
Yeah, 100%.
So hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was an absolute blast to record. We're back. Hopefully we can get back to doing weekly episodes. We'll see how that goes. Maybe we incorporate like some gaming videos or some shit, or like tier lists like we did in some other videos. But yeah, we hope to be back a lot more often, and we hope to see you guys around. So thank you so much for watching this episode, and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you guys.
Peace out. Bye.